Welcome back to Off Key. This is Chapter 2 of Episode 2 with Brian the Snowman Powers. My name is Allie Branjord, and I'm here with my co-host, Shannon Brunet. Today we're talking about the business of music and engineering and all that other kind of stuff. Also, later, we're spotlighting Shannon's project Twice and their new single, Evolution.
Next question. You want to go for this one?
You can ask this one.
All right.
I asked both of them.
Sure. There's a misconception, kind of like how the public has a misconception with that music should be free. And something comes around, and what we do, being producers, engineers, audio mixers, that here's bands that don't understand why people think their music should be free, and I agree with them. It shouldn't be, because they should get paid for their hard work. But those same bands and musicians don't understand why we charge so much for studio time, for engineering, for mixing. How do you tell someone that their record's going to cost them $4,000, $5,000, $10,000 in today's world where music, they might not make it back just selling alone? They're going to have to make it back playing gigs.
I think the hardest thing I ever do is budget and try to tell people how much I'm going to charge them. Because the minute they say, well, how much do you usually cost? And you're kind of looking at them and you know already that whatever number you give them, they're going to say they can't afford it. You could give them $2, they're going to be like, oh, well, they're waiting to do that.
Yeah.
Because they know that studio engineers like to charge a lot, and they know that it costs a lot, even if they don't understand why, but they're waiting to talk you down. So sometimes I'll actually shoot high and then say, but I could probably do it for this. Sometimes I'll kind of play that game with them a little bit, you know.
Now that your secrets are, you're going to have to charge even double high.
And charge a little more than that. But and everybody's got a budget, you know, and I'm finding that nobody wants to work hourly anymore, which is really bad for us, because then if you do like get paid half up front and half at the end, well, especially for most projects, that end could be a year away, you know, and you end up working so much for nothing. And actually the two projects I got coming up, I'm charging them all up front. And I'm like, you want me to actually book the time and start the project? I need everything. And I don't think a lot of bands even realize actually the power, though, of free music. Now, a lot of groups will come in and talking about, and this is a little bit of a side note on that, but like, they'll come in and they're gonna put a record together, and they want to do the whole thing, and they want to do a bunch of shows, and let's say they have some things going for themselves, right? Well, like, you're in there, and you're getting ready to release an album, especially if people don't know who you are, or if you've never released one yet, and they've got shows before the release date. I spend a lot of time trying to convince them to let's get one song finished and give it for free. Just give bootleg copies. Don't print it. Don't just throw it on a CD. CDR. It's only going to play about 20 times anyway. And give a few things out for free and really utilize that. And then when the album comes out, they already know who you are, and then they might be more enticed to buy. You know what I'm saying? Like, so use the power of that. Release a single or two here and there. Or maybe even don't even do a whole album. Maybe do one song at a time.
I've been trying to get people to do EPs.
Yeah, we were talking about that the other day. Instead of doing full albums, which it does make more sense when you describe it, because it's just simpler and people like that.
The idea of the EPs these days, it seems to be kind of the wave too with musicians, is one, it's if you're going to spend so many thousands of dollars and try to do a full album and kind of half-ass it, or spend that same amount of money and do 5 songs and get them sounding like every other song on the radio, and go get great musicians to be on it, and it's much better. It's a better kind of like step forward for you. It's a better outlook from what your perception of what people have of you, and that's one of the things that I've been kind of preaching to my clients is, we'll spend the same amount of time as if you were doing a full album. We're not saying, let's do less and charge you the same. It's let's get you better quality and let's get you sounding amazing, because instead of us working for 20 million years on something and getting paid very little and not being able to hire those great musicians and great mixer and great mastering engineer to get on it.
Well, what's interesting is everyone talks about the music industry is dying. Nobody's making. People are still making records. Okay, let's just clear that up right now. Rihanna's still making songs. Justin Timberlake's still making songs. Everybody's still making songs. They're still making records. Yes, sometimes they'll sell singles. Sometimes they'll sell a bunch of stuff on iTunes first. Sometimes they do direct digital content. It's all about diversity and content. But make no mistake, records are still being made. Mm-hmm. And the job of the engineer, maybe you got to diversify and do some broadcasts and do some voiceovers, do some of this too, but there are still records to be made.
Yep.
Having said that, the EP idea is also great, but here's our challenge, right? How do you convince your client, let me ask you guys, that there is a difference in quality of spending more time on something and spending more money for a lower number of songs? Do they even know the quality between you, me, or the guy who just started? How do you convince them of that?
You want to take that or should I?
Why don't you take it?
Okay.
I'll go after you.
Sounds good. Really, for the conversation usually ends up being they have to learn for themselves. They almost have to make the mistake before they understand. Because I've had clients that have come to me after I said, I'm going to be this much. They turn me down because I'm more money. They go to someone who just doesn't have the experience or the equipment or, the knowledge of how to make a good EP or song or record. And then they come back to me saying, we just got this. It sounds like crap. Can you mix it? Can we pay you to mix it and make it sound better? Is there anything you can do for this? And they have to look in the eyes and say, not only did you just pay that guy less than me, I still have to charge you full price because we're going to have to do this all over again. If they can get that huge quality, great professional quality song and recording from these guys, that's great. If for less price, good for them because then they just spend less money and they got something good. When it comes to me, I always say, put up or shut up kind of thing. It's really, hey, look at what I've done. Look at what Allie's done. Look at what Snowman's done. Can the guy that you're comparing me to get that kind of quality? And the answer is no. CDs are something, and audio and music is something that you have for the rest of your life. I still have tapes of when I was 14 years old playing in Plymouth, Wisconsin at the youth center that I watch, and I'm 37 now. So it's kind of like you hold on to this stuff. Why not make it sound great now since you're going to listen to it for the rest of your life?
I don't think artists really think about that, though. I think they do later after they fuck up and then, as you said, come back to you. But I don't think right off the bat when they're like, oh, man, we got all these songs we want to record. They're not thinking, let's look into this. Let's find a really good engineer. They're thinking, let's get in a fucking studio and record these. And that's their mindset. They just want it really cheap and really fast. They're not thinking about quality.
And which comes right to my point of they're going to do that once and they're going to tell you, no, I got this guy. And then it's going to turn out to be, they'll come back to you next time and go, yeah, last time we learned our lesson. Here we are.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes, and kind of depending on your clients and who you're dealing with. If you're dealing in the local circuit, they may never know.
Yeah.
They'll do these things and they'll do it with their drummer in the band and they're fine with it. Oh, that sounds great. You know what I mean? And probably in the back of their minds, they really know it doesn't. But an issue that I even had recently, probably one of the bigger records I've worked on in a while, they used 2 mixing engineers for. And I ended up doing most of it, and he only did about 3 or 4 songs. But, I ended up putting into a situation where, for everything that I've accomplished in the years I've been in it, we weren't up against each other. We're working together to make this record great. But he's been their guy forever.
Yeah.
And so basically whatever he did is gold to them. And he is a great mixer. Don't get me wrong at all. He's actually really, really good. And like me, he's kind of unknown. But he, when they came and I gave him my stuff, I've worked with them before. They love what I do, but they really wanted me to go more in his direction. And we have similar directions, but there's some big differences. And so I had to do things a little bit more like he would do. And it was a challenge for me. I learned a lot of new things. But what's interesting in that case is you have good quality on both sides. Then it becomes a matter of style and a matter of that kind of thing. And when you have a client who can actually determine and discern that difference, that's actually really cool to work for because then they know what they want. They appreciate quality, but it's kind of weird when even though you're chosen because of your quality, but yet you weren't chosen for specific things because what someone else did is what they were looking for. It brings a whole new element into that conversation about quality.
Yeah.
It's very subjective.
Allie, anything to add?
No.
They don't call her the greatest color woman for nothing.
Monty?
I'm not sure what you guys are talking about.
That's because you're too young.
Bonnie, anything to add? No. He's not the best color man in the league for nothing, folks. All right, we're set to go.
Thanks for listening to Off Key. Next chapter, we'll talk to Brian Powers once again, and we'll be talking about jazz. Right now, take a listen to Twice's new single, Evolution. It is currently available on Spotify and iTunes. Enjoy.
Get pushed back and go, get pushed back and trying to live in this rat race. Dues and pay, but these bills are due. What am I to do? Conform to your rules, and then confirm all that bullshit's true. We all sing those souls. Tomorrow it comes and it goes. They had a dream and they lost esteem and they shoved that dream and the dream got old. But it's my time now. Chose my path, I can't take that bow. One way up and it's one way down. One way in and there's no way out. Time's up, so rise up. When the game changes, rearrange it, elevate or break. Welcome to the new evolution. Yeah, these short days and these long nights. Finally feel like I got it right. I got a nice buzz and I'm getting paid. I ain't getting rich, but enough to fight. Learn hard and I learn right. In the lab every single night. It's not about the money, not about the power. It's not about the glamour. It's not black and white. You make beats, I produce. You write rhymes and I write the truth. I make masterpieces out of my mistakes. So don't worry about me, you can worry about you. And it's my time now. Took my path, I won't take that bow. One way up and it's one way down. In here now, there's no way out. No way out. Time's up, so rise up.